All right, we're gonna go live now. Hitting the button, hitting the button. Okay, it says we're live. Okay, here we are. Wait a couple minutes to see what happened. Oh, wait 1 second. Let me. Can you hear the playback? Okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So hi everyone, this is Michelle for Expat Life Mexico. Thank you for joining us if you're already here. If not, we're just going to talk through our retreat. Today is all about telling you about our upcoming retreat, which is starting in April and starts on the 2nd of April, and it's going to end on April the 8th. These two beautiful, lovely ladies that are here are going to be a part of our week, and they are our facilitators. They're going to tell you a little bit about their background, but as you all know, I live in San Miguel de Allende in central Mexico, and I've been here for almost 5 years. I absolutely love this part of Mexico. I met these two women while living here, and they're phenomenal. So as the retreat goes, the overall idea is to bring the women who feel the need to be a part of it together, that might have some relatable experiences in the most recent past or even a long time ago, but just want to be here. The overall idea for me is to create a space where we can empower each other, reclaim whatever it is we feel that we need to, whether it's our peace of mind or our life as a whole, for whatever the reasons are, whether it's for yourself, your family, your children. I definitely really think long-term about the effects things that can have on our children. That's very important to me. So in saying all of that, I want to talk a little bit about the retreat and how I got to this point of creating this hopefully wonderful week for all of those who are going to come out, right? Rah, rah. And and then we'll let the ladies, well, actually, I'll let you all introduce yourselves first, and then we'll talk a little bit about what your part and role is in it. So I'll start with Kate.
My name's Kate Van Doren. Hi, everyone. I am an artist and art therapist. My formal training is in psychotherapy and art therapy. I've been a therapist for over 20 years. And I am also a fine artist and a photographer. And that's how I met Michelle. And that's how I met Gabby. Gabby has been a colleague of mine for many years. And very grateful to be a part of this today. And I'm also a mother, which is my primary job. We're all moms here. So that's very important. So I'm very excited to be here today.
Awesome. And Gabby?
Hello to everybody. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Kate. My name is Gabriela Osorio, and I'm also an art therapist. And I have worked with many kinds of population, but in this workshop in particular, I think it's so important that we as women can work with ourselves, because we go through so many phases in our lives and so many changes in our lives, that I think it's so wonderful that Michelle is bringing all of these pieces together to bring this space for a lot of women. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. So I'll say a little bit about how we all met, and then I'll talk a little bit about the retreat. So I met Gabby because I've used her as a counselor. She's amazing.
Thank you.
Very balanced in her approach, and just very kind of easy to speak to, and at the same time just brings a lot of logic to whatever the conversation is that's being held. So that's, I don't want people to think that we just kind of picked each other randomly. Like, I've had experiences with both of these women that really, when I started thinking about putting this retreat together, they were on my mind, and I didn't know they knew each other. So it just kind of all felt like it was in alignment and it was meant to be. And Kate reached out to me quite a few months ago. And although they're both kind of a little understated, there's such amazing women. I just have to say that. Kate has such an amazing eye. She has art that really is empowering. And, this is just a great fit for her to be a part. Her art is always about something that means something. And I just really love the work. And, because I'm always making comments about them. We'll talk a little bit more about some of her projects as well. And also, Gabby has a book that is surrounded around art therapy. So I don't know, actually, before we get a little bit into the retreat part, can you explain, either one of you explain that just a little bit more for anyone that might not be familiar with this concept? Because I wasn't quite familiar with it until I met you, Gabby.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course. This is a book. It's called Manual de Arte Terapia, which is like a handbook for children, and it has 23 different exercises that children can make from 6 to 12 years old. And the main idea is exactly to bring a space, or to have a space for children so they can express what they feel, how they think, where they are. And so sometimes they express so many things, but this is just a space for them, a safe place for them to just express those things.
Okay, great. And Kate, I know you've had also this background. What is how do you weave in art with your background?
Mm-hmm. I also want to say something about Gabby's book. It's incredible, and I use it in my own practice.
Thank you.
She started it during COVID to help children and families with anxiety, and I use it in my own practice with my own clients. And I was grateful that she asked me to write in the back a review. So yes. I'm like, I can't say enough about the book.
Thank you.
We're all as creators, we can be very modest, and Gabby. So in my private practice, I do art therapy with psychotherapy and art therapy, and I see the art as the modality for change. There's a triangle in art therapy, and the art is significant in connecting the artist and art therapist, and also helping the client really manifest and see things that maybe cannot be seen through verbal communication. Mm-hmm. And I see my practice very separate from my art making, although my art making really, I think the background that I have in art therapy really helps me go deep with the art that I do. When I paint or photograph people, primarily women, children, and the LGBTQ plus community, I interview them about parts of their life. When I paint people, it's a project. It's usually 6 months, 6 months to a year, where I'll spend working with them and really getting to know their story, so many times hardships in life that have helped them to grow and change and reclaim and become this deeper person. And I'm so inspired by the strength of people. And I typically weave nature into the work that I do, because nature is such a huge foundation for healing and growth. And the photography is also a part of that. And when I photograph people, I tend to paint them too. So
yes, amazing. It almost looks real. I mean,
amazing. Yes.
Amazing art.
Do you want me to talk about the hand painting? Do you want me to?
Yes, please do. Please share. And then, yes, we're going to get to the retreat for those watching. We will get to the details, but I'm just really, I love your causes. So yes, please share.
I hired Michelle actually this year to be a hand model for a project. Yes, I painted her hands holding a flower and a broken butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was representing a cancer survivor, but she lived in another city. And so I needed a model to help me transform, because I paint from photos. And Michelle and I really connected. And we also photographed you that day with Micah, which was really wonderful. And I think when I photographed you with Micah, we really were able to talk about so many things about your life and weaving together how women can reclaim themselves, especially mothers. And I got to meet Micah for the first time, which was wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for that. And both of you and Gabby. So as many people know me on this channel, they now live in San Miguel. And I am now officially divorced. I don't talk much about it because I've just decided, that everyone has chapters in their lives. So I don't dwell on things. But while being here, we showed up in places together in terms of just, being in the San Miguel, I guess, core of life in terms of, here's Michelle, here's Afro expats, and now expat life. And here we are as a unit, which we are no longer a unit. And the whole point of this retreat is just as it's okay to make decisions that are good for you. And that's all I want to really kind of focus on, is that the decisions that I made, although very personal, I think a lot of people struggle with making some of these more definitive decisions because of a lot of reasons. And I think one of the bigger reasons is fear of the unknown, right? Fear of what will happen if I decide that this is not healthy for me any longer. And that was really big for me, being especially in a foreign country. It's something that I stepped into in terms of the unknown. But what I realized in making this decision to move on and take whatever had to come my way, or whatever was in front of me, was that the title and the meaning behind this retreat, Peace, Not Pieces, was for me the goal. I knew that I didn't want to have my end of years or my years in front of me be me in mental pieces, emotional pieces, broken pieces. It just wasn't going to work for me. So the point simply is that I chose to be in a more peaceful place, even though it might have felt uncertain. I wanted to be in a very peaceful place. I wanted the environment that I live in to be very calming for my child. It was very important that the long-term effects were going to be positive, because I've always, and we as parents, most parents, that's what we strive for, is for our children to, have the best, most comfortable environment that they can be in. And that was very important for me. So once all of the, kind of the end of the line with all the stress and everything, and I moved into my new space, I just remember Gabby's conversation with me at some point about her book. And although I didn't reach out to you at that time, this was about a little less than a year ago, not much, close to almost a year ago, I remember the words art therapy. And I remember just feeling like I want to reclaim my space. I want to reclaim who I am, who I've always been. I'm okay with that. Like, I am not ashamed of any part of me. This is who I am. So for me, it was one of those things that just sort of happened in bits and pieces where I started to think about a concept. So I'll give you the backstory, and I think you kind of heard it before. I had this giant picture frame, right? It was just leaning against the wall in my room. And previously I had it outside where I lived before, and I actually brought it from Florida, and it never had anything in it except when it was outside, it had like a mirror and a vine growing around it. So when I moved here, I just had it leaning on the wall, and, you know, settling in, whatever. I passed it so many times in my room. And then finally, when I got to the point of what am I going to do with this frame, that's sort of where the story started. And I wanted something in it. And I thought, well, I'm going to create just a canvas, and it'd be abstract, and I'm going to write words on it that are empowering to me. So every morning when I wake up, I can see that it's okay for me to be a goddess, for me to be self-love, for me to be all of the things that really brought us to this. And I just wanted to be reminded that there's no shame in that at all. There's no shame to speak your mind, to be who you need to be. I've always been a very outspoken person in terms of protecting my space, etc. Long story short, it went from that idea to I wanted to be the canvas, and I hired someone. Didn't hire Kate, but I'm hiring her. Yeah, we're going to do this now. Someone to literally put the words on my body. And when I did this, I remember just feeling very empowered, like these words are a part of me, and this is who I am, and this is what it represents. So in saying all of that, that's how we kind of slowly birthed this Peace Not Pieces, which is the one sentence on my arm. And that's what it says, that this is who I am. This is strength for me. This is what I represent. And it's okay for me to do that. I'm not perfect, but it's okay for me to have peace in my imperfections. So that's where we kind of ended up. And I'm so grateful because as I started to think this through, Kate reached out to me to be a hand model. And her work is just so similar to this, and so is Gabby's. And we just started to talk. We've been kind of back and forth for months, trying to connect what are the best days, because we're all busy. And pretty much this is kind of how this retreat was birthed. And the concept behind it is basically for anyone who may have gone through anything, recent loss, trauma, it doesn't really matter, just wants to find and hold space for themselves in a circle of, upliftment. This is the retreat for you. We have amazing, amazing things lined up. I will let Gabby talk a little bit about her workshops and her intentions for the workshop.
Yes. And thank you, Michelle, because you're sharing so many things that we can all relate. No, we can all say, yes, I have also gone through this or through that. No, and what it's so beautiful about what everybody that's life. No, we have to go through so many things. Is that in this very beautiful space that we're going to create, is that everybody's going to make art, and when we say art therapy, it doesn't mean that only artists or only people that already have experience with art materials can do this. No, art is just another tool, and art is another way to say things, and to process things or to build things. So whenever we go through a creative process, it's really healing, you know? And that's why if we listen to music, or if we are drawing a mandala, or if we are, you know, or if we're just looking at images, it's inspiring. There's this process that it's so magical, no? And so we're going to do a lot of art making, because in a way also when we are making art, or when we are in a creative process, also our brain is changing, our everything inside us is also moving. And so yes, I have worked even in recent times, I have worked with many different workshops and for different populations. And there's still a lot of things that happen in those 2 years of COVID that we're still talking about, you know? So if there's something that you need to process about that, or something that you are also struggling with, no, I think that there's just so many reasons why we can take art as a way to express and to process things. No, so I have more than 23 years of experience in clinical work. I'm recently living in Michoacan, but I'm very close to San Miguel, and I lived in San Miguel for almost 8 years, and I am so happy about creating, you know, this space together, and with women that also have this interest of probably knowing themselves more, or understanding themselves more, or create a voice for themselves. No, I mean, there's just so many options, so many alternatives. Art, again, is a tool, and it's a way to do all of that. No, so art therapy, it's also a way to go deeper inside of us. I mean, even when we thought that we already knew ourselves, sometimes when we look at something that we made, you can see another side of yourself. No, I mean, sometimes we can be surprised with what we can do. No, so so we're going to do a lot of art in the 2 days that I'm going to work with all of you, and there's going to be a little bit of collage. There's going to be a little bit of movement, music, and also I'm going to try to have different art materials, because everybody needs sometimes different ways to express themselves. But I'm also going to work with embroidery, because I have found that embroidery also brings this other way to process, and sometimes we can just meditate, you know, through that through that kind of action of putting yarn together, or kneading, you know, things. It's just it's almost like a metaphor of what we can do in our lives, no? And so yeah, so I don't know, what else can I say?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think you know, the overall idea for the week is we're giving you a full 5 days of just being yourself, being in touch with yourself,
with you.
Being with you. You're going to be with you with us, but meaning it's all about you. It's not about all the external things. And as much as we can tap into pieces of healing, right? And things that we need to kind of say, you know what, these are my things, and I'm going to face them, and I'm going to let them go today or this week. And this is how we will support that with having these two beautiful ladies. We'll talk a little bit more about the agenda in general, like, you know, the things that are included, but we also wanted to kind of round it out with Kate's portion. So I'll let her talk a little bit more about how your project started. Please, like, explain it, because it means so much to me. I think it's also very empowering and powerful, and why I really was so pushy and adamant about
Me doing
about that representation being present as well.
and I'm very honored that you are both in the project. You both are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I photographed Gabby in 2019. I photographed you both in 2019, and then
Mhm.
Michelle, you again this last year. So the project is called El Día Sin Mujeres. It's the Day Without Women. It is a photography project. It started as a human rights project for women, primarily in Mexico, and very, very compromised situations, and women. It was a famous protest that has been going on since actually 2017. And in Mexico, women were planning to not go to work, not go to school, just disappear. To have communities understand what it would be like if there were no women. And so I started photographing women as a protest, to use their photographs on their profiles so that women could work in solidarity with one another. And signify that they were that they were participating in the protest. And within just a few weeks, I took, I don't know, over 2,000 photos of women and children. And I've continued the project over time, and it's transformed. And I'd like to use Michelle, you as an example.
Yes.
So
Sure.
after 2019 and the protest, I continued the project because something really beautiful started happening in the project when I started photographing women and children and the LGBTQ plus community. Something really beautiful occurred in that I started asking people, when I would ask people, what words do you want to write on your body to reclaim yourself? There was a really wonderful conversation that happened about early intervention, what it means to feel safe, what it feels to be empowered. And so especially women and children were talking to their children, and it was opening conversations very early. And continuing the project has really transformed from an actual protest project and an emergency project to a project about reclamation, change, and change from trauma. We all have traumas in our life, unfortunately, sometimes at a very early age, and we're all trying to get back to that place before our traumas began. And when we reclaim, and when I took your photos, Michelle, the first year during the protests, you reached out to me. It was very important to you. I didn't know what was going on in your life, but it was, and we met in front of a school, and I took your photo in front of
the street,
on the
sidewalk.
Street. Raw and amazing, and I was so grateful. And when I took your photos again, you had gone through this huge transformation, and we talked about your empowerment and where you were in your life, and the words that you chose were quite different around your reclamation from your traumas in your past, right? And so that's where the project weaves in with Gabby's, is that we're working with art to reclaim parts of ourselves that may have been broken. And that is what is so empowering about art, is that we can reclaim any parts of ourselves at any time, right? And it's so powerful and so important. And so when the women who will be at the retreat, I'm really excited to meet, because I'll have a chance to really connect, and we'll talk a lot about and go as deep or not deep as people are willing to go. People just tend to open up when I do the project and want to talk about all kinds of things, and I'm here and open for it all. And it's also confidential, right? So that's a part I think we didn't discuss today, is that when Gabby and I work, we're professional psychotherapists, and it's a safe space, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens within individually and in the group is something where we want people to be able to feel comfortable to process and go as deep or whatever the comfort level is, right?
Yes.
And when I will work with the participants, we'll talk about whatever words they want to use to reclaim themselves. So at the beginning of the workshop, I'll be asking that question to start thinking, while you're working with Gabby, start thinking about some empowering words that you feel are empowering for you. Reclaim yourself, and that theme can follow through while the work is being done with Gabby, and then I will do the photography after this beautiful processing has been going on. And Gabby talked a lot about the sublimation in art, the things that you sometimes don't see. They're happy surprises, things that manifest, and then we go, oh wow, I made this, and this came from me, and I guess I needed to express that, right? And so part of that will transfer into the photography making. And then I'll be photographing the women who participate in the project and have this beautiful experience together. And then they'll get to keep the photos. So I'll be sending the photos. It's part of the art making, and they are in the art making, and they'll also be taking home the artwork made with Gabby. So there's a lot. And the photographs I'll need to edit after, so they'll be sent them probably 2 working days afterwards, after the workshop. And they're high resolution. They can keep, print, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for that, Kate. I mean, her work is amazing. I'll share 2 of the many photos that she sent to me. And I say many as in maybe I received around 12. So, you know, these are some, I love them all, but these are 2 that share a shot with my son and I, and then one with myself. So it just gives you more of a visual. So give me 1 second to do that. Hold on 1 sec. I guess you can see that.
Yeah, we can see them, and they are beautiful.
A little messy here. So this was just amazing for me. Thanks again, Kate. I loved it. I just loved it. It's so personal, and it's just something that really, for me, puts more roots in the ground of my reasons and purpose, and the decisions that I think each of us make when we need to make them. And this feels like something that's just a reminder of how peaceful, you know, I feel in this moment, and it just keeps me going. It keeps me going. So yeah. Thank you so much.
That's the power of images, no? I mean, you can just see an image and you can immediately think of or transport to so many places, no? Inside or outside.
Absolutely. So that gives you an idea of our purpose and what we're, you know, including in this week. In addition to that, we have, you know, as far as an agenda goes, we would have everyone have like a meet and greet. We also will have yoga, meditation with sound bowl at least twice. I think on the Thursday of that week, we plan on doing a full moon movement ceremony as well. And we're going to also have some pampering. So we'll have massages and whatever people choose, whatever they're comfortable with. And these are all included. So everything I'm talking about is included in the package that we're offering. We're also going to have a day at the hot springs, an early morning gathering at the hot springs. I don't know if you've been there.
Yes, I want to take this workshop.
Okay,
Yeah, me
yes,
too.
I'm taking it. I'm also going to be so front and center in between running around, but yeah, so basically, the hot springs at La Gruta is, for me, if you go early, I always get there at 7.
Yeah, it's a paradise. Yes.
It is. It's such a spiritual experience for me because it's quiet. It's sometimes very chilly out, and that rush to get into this very hot water and the sound of the water. There aren't a lot of people. There's like a room in the back that just reminds me of something very old. There's just, I don't know, there's a lot of good cleansing energy there. So that's also a part of this week as well. And of course, the workshops. And, we would like to give people time for reflection as well. So, each day, Gabby we'll have 2 days with Gabby. She'll give us work, and it'll give you some time to have reflection, as well as when you meet both of them in the beginning, Kate will also, as she mentioned, give you time to think about how you're going into this and how you want to leave and what you want to leave with in terms of your empowerment, what makes you feel like I'm reclaiming myself in the space that I need to. So it's very important, I think, to kind of think about even the reasons. A lot of times people go to retreats because they want to get pampered, which is also a part of it. But this is also for you to leave with a piece of yourself and more grounded and empowered and feeling just like I'm me and I'm okay with that. I think that that's the messaging that I'm really trying to share with everyone. So it's, we have a lot of beautiful things. There are some meals included. We're going to have a farewell ceremony as well. And, people are welcome to go and check out San Miguel as well. It's a beautiful city, right? We all love San Miguel. So, yeah, and it includes pick up from the airport to the house, and Casa ELM. If you haven't heard of Casa ELM, and this is your first time here, it's, a space that is my home, and it's very comfortable and quiet. Tranquil, peaceful. It's not directly in Central. If you've heard of San Miguel, it can be a little bit noisy in Central. We're just a little bit outside. So there's a nice yard. We also have a yoga meditation area, which we will utilize with a facilitator for classes. We'll do meditation. So we have a whole lineup. We can send an itinerary to anyone who's interested. All of the information will be in the description box, the link on how to get to that part and sign up. So that's kind of the overall idea in a nutshell. Yeah. Do you want to add anything?
Beautiful. It's beautiful. I think it's beautiful.
Yes. Kate.
Absolutely. I want to attend.
Yes. Come on out.
And I'm just very honored and really, I'm really excited to see the women that are going to be that are choosing to do this. It's going to be really wonderful. I'm always so grateful for every person I get to spend time with and learn more about. Their stories are just so empowering, and so I'm excited for what's to come.
Absolutely. So on that note, basically this is our Peace Not Pieces retreat. It's happening April the 2nd through the 8th. And we also have a date that we set for September later on this year. You know what? I'm going to quickly grab that and put it in the chat for anyone who is interested. So just give me 1 second to do that. We have 2 dates. So we have April the 2nd through the 8th of this year. And then we have another one that's tentatively scheduled in September. So we'll have to kind of confirm dates and availability. We didn't really quite talk about that. But can repeat it and later on this year for anyone who might not be able to join us for this one, that we will be able to hopefully share this again later on in the year. So let me put this in the chat. Okay, someone wanted to know, hi Shauna, mentioned throughout the retreat, Gabby will give us work. By work, are you referring to various art projects? No, it's not quite just art projects. We're weaving the art into the work from a personal standpoint. I don't know if you want to explain that a little bit more, Gabby.
Yeah, I think that what you meant was that obviously everything that we're going to do, there's a reflection and there's going to be like a whole like inner process, no? So so also when you finish something, a collage, let's just put it as an example, when you finish that, there's already so many things to see and to reflect on, no? So sometimes that's the homework, that's the that's the assignment, to see, wow, like this image is really representing my relationship with my son or with my daughter, no? So there's going to be time to process things and to make, no, the artwork. But then after our sessions, there's also going to be like probably questions or something to reflect on, so you can start the next session, with also art making and art materials and all of that. I don't know if I answer a little bit that question.
I think yes, you did, but I think I don't want people to think like we're just doing art. The retreat is not to just create art. The retreat is for us to talk about things that we want to talk about healing wise. In my case, okay, I chose separation over not being a whole person, right? And that's the point of this retreat. Peace, not pieces. I want to have peace. What things do you relate to that allow you to feel that, allow you to capture that, allow you to reclaim that? And that's pretty much the focus is we want you to be able to hopefully share that in a very safe space with these 2 women who have way more experience than me. My experience is as the sharing, the giver of my, my life and my world. So this means a lot to me. Because it's a personal thing, but at the same time, it's that I have found through some of the steps that I chose to make last year, that because of the experiences I had, a lot of verbal abuse, that I was able to express my pushback to those words by putting those words on my body. That doesn't mean you have to do it the same way. It just means that art is giving us a form of expressing, this is how I'm reclaiming it. So we're weaving this into the retreat. So I hope that makes it more clear. Shauna said she got it.
And also, I think the word work means you have to go out of your comfort zone. Work means change, and that scares some people, right? And what we're talking about is inner work, inner reflection, not building a house. Although sometimes that inner work can feel like building a house. And this is a contained space where the inner work is possible, right? In a really beautiful way.
Right.
To
And
create
also,
what you're looking for.
absolutely. And I also want to say that it's a very small retreat. So this is not this is only for 4 or 5 women. So if you're interested, please do RSVP. We have very limited space. We want it to be where we can bond, and there's not, this isn't the busload retreat. We're really trying to create a comfortable environment for anyone that finds this relatable, and just, wants to have this time to just focus on themselves. Really, that's always been something that I know that I've wanted to do for years. Like, I remember way back, 11 years ago or more, when I first had my son, I always felt like I would love to host a women's retreat, because we do a lot. We're moms, we're wives, we're daughters, we're sisters, we're nieces, whatever it is, we're grandmoms, and we have always, kind of like the glue. We're the glue, right? We make things happen. Most of us work really hard, and we don't always take some time for ourselves. So this was always something I wanted to do, and I feel like this is the right time to put this out there. So we really hope that someone will relate to our stories and what we're sharing here. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Kate Bates, for your compliment. She loved the photos. So yeah, that being said, if there's anyone that is interested, the link is in the chat, and I will also put it in the description box below. You can go to thejourneyretreat.com and you can find it there. There's a space to RSVP if you're interested. If you need more information about, it has all the details, what's included, and the cost. If you need more information from us, just reach out by email, and Brianna, my manager, she'll jump in and answer any questions, and we can certainly pose additional questions to Kate and Gabby if anyone needs more information. But it's going to be a beautiful week, and I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yes. And
people can reach out to me on Instagram. I think that's the easiest way. I know we're on YouTube right now, but at El Dia Sin Mujeres or at Kat Van Doren are my art accounts.
Okay, tell me, I'm going to put it in
the chat. You want me to
write?
Oh, I can't write it in the chat, can I?
You in the live chat. No, but I'll do it. Tell me what it is.
At El Dia Sin Mujeres, which is at ELDIA SIN Mujeres. Oh, Sin SIN Mujeres.
Yeah, I got it. And
then at Kat Van Doren.
Is it CAT? It's KAT.
Yeah, it's CAT.
Okay.
Back in the day, my name was taken, so I've stuck with this one.
And Gabby, I'm sorry, go ahead. Did you have?
You, Kate.
Oh, yeah, just people can reach out to me, DM me. You can look at many more photography pieces there. And the work that I do, you can find it there to get a better sense of the work that we'll be doing together too.
Absolutely. And Gabby, what is your, I know
I have my Instagram. It's Gabriela.o.fajardo.
Sorry, is it double L or?
No, just one L. Gabriela.o.fajardo, FAJARDO. That's my full name.
Okay.
And I
All right, it's
usually
in the
share a lot of what I do, no? Also as an artist, I also share different techniques that I'm recently using, and I also share a lot of what I'm doing with my book. I'm gonna go to Guadalajara City and the 11th of February to present my book. So that's mainly where I share a lot of my work as an artist and also as a therapist.
I love it. Well, all I can say is I'm very grateful that you are both in this with me. I could not pull it off by myself, at least not delivering what I feel is a level that I'm looking for people to really find their comfort and hopefully be able to express whatever it is they need to express outside of the house that they're building, right?
Yeah.
And come out the front door and really be comfortable with tapping into true healing. I think it's very important for us to realize the level of stress that we carry sometimes when we don't talk about things and we don't find a way to maybe break a cycle. And it's generational. It really is. It's a generational thing. And it's important. It's important to do that. And it's not always easy. I have to sometimes scale back my opinions because they're very strong. And I have a tendency to be like, forget that, no way. And I know that everyone is not that at all. And so I try to walk a little lighter with my approach and understanding that healing is a personal journey. So in saying that, mine is this, and I hope that people will be a part of it in their own way. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.
You.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for being here.
So
again.
excited. This is going to be wonderful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I feel it like bubbles inside already. Seltzer water going on inside. So in saying all of that, again, this is Michelle for Expat Life Mexico, also the founder of the Journey Retreats and Casa ELM. So doing kind of like different things, but they all come together here in San Miguel de Allende, located in central Mexico. It's an amazing city. If you haven't been here, if you haven't heard of it, look it up, San Miguel de Allende. Google will figure out how to spell it for you. And those are four steps, San Miguel. Okay, never mind. So basically, this is to me a space that holds a lot of good energy as well. And I say San Miguel as a whole, mostly too because of where it's located and it's in the mountains, so you're not coming to the beach. I just want to clarify that. But we do have hot water and hot springs and a lot of beautiful things that will happen. So I'm really grateful to everyone that follows me, and if this sounds like something you want to be a part of, please sign up for it, whether it's now or later on in the year. Stay tuned and in touch with us. If you have any questions at all, please go to thejourneyretreat.com and you can do an RSVP or contact us for any questions, and we'll post more information out there. But this is the Q&A that we put together for you to kind of get, or the live, so you can understand what the retreat is all about. Okay. And hi, Francis. Someone just popped on. Yes, it will be life-changing. I hope that's,
Okay, thank you so much for today.
Thank you. And thanks, Gabby.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Gracias.
Bye. Bye. Oh, thank you, Kimberly. Jump on. Please join us. Kimberly, Annabelle, I don't know. You ladies know her. Okay. Here. Okay. All right, we're still on our Zoom.